Hello and welcome. This is Self-Control, How to Build a Better Life. This is the podcast that will inspire you to take control of your mind and your mindset, to challenge the way you think, and thereby go forward and build the life that you want to live. And today I want to do something a little bit different. When I was 18 years old, and for a number of years afterwards, I battled depression. Not too severe, but present. It was there. I dealt with a lot of depression. I can clearly remember a moment when I was head down on my desk crying and my mom coming into my room, and I looked up at her and said, "I think I'm depressed." And so I think that if you maybe are a young person and you're dealing with some depression, right? I don't want to pretend that I have all the answers for someone who's got a serious case of depression. Maybe you feel like you could be getting more out of life. Maybe you just want to start progressing through life and you feel like you're holding yourself back. I want to share with you the 5 things that I would tell myself now. I'm 34 years old. What would I have told my 18-year-old self in that moment? So here we go. Number 1, reduce and eventually cease your marijuana intake. Now, everyone's experience with marijuana varies, but I always find it interesting when you have somebody who's a big-time user, big advocate of marijuana, while also having mental health issues. And they say that, well, the marijuana is helping me medicate the mental health issues. It's like, I can't tell you how to live your life. To me, there's something fishy there. I have mental health problems and I'm blasting myself with an external psychoactive substance daily. And I know too that if you're a young person like I was, and maybe you have a friend group that you get together and smoke dope, in the evenings after work or whatever, after school, and maybe you're even drinking on the weekends, it's going to be harder if the drug and alcohol use is tied into a social circle. And that's why I say just start to roll it back. You can't necessarily quit it cold turkey, but you have to also ask yourself again, look, I seem to have emotional problems. I'm lazy. I don't feel good about myself. And every weekend I'm drinking and every day I'm smoking marijuana. It wasn't so easy to see it then. I see it so clearly now. Those sorts of things that go into the mind, they can wreak havoc on us. I'm not saying for everybody, but I'm talking to myself here. I needed to put 2 and 2 together. There's also with marijuana, the laziness factor, at least it was for me. I didn't try as hard in life. I kind of half-assed a lot of my schooling. I wasn't moving. I moved a lot. I would run around in the river valley for hours at a time smoking the stuff, but I wasn't growing as a person. I wasn't moving through life in that way because it was easy to just do the bare minimum and then skive off and go smoke weed. So that'd be number 1. I'm not saying stop right now, but start to roll it back and start to realize the havoc that's going on in your mind because of what you're choosing to consume. Number 2, start lifting weights and start doing yoga. And I know that anybody who has had any amount of mental health problems, who has reached out to the internet for help, has probably heard these words. I still stand by them. I did an episode of this podcast, and I will say it again, weightlifting saved my life. Any form of resistance training. It doesn't have to be heavy weight in the gym. It can be resistance bands. It can be body weight. My friend who got me into weightlifting, he saved my life, and I maybe should have told him that when I saw him the other day. And I did eventually start doing it 3 or 4 years after this incident of depression, or of realizing that I had depression. So weightlifting, it boosts testosterone, it releases endorphins, it increases appetite. It gets us into a space where now we're setting goals. It's like, all right, I managed to lift this amount today. Next week when I come back to do this exercise, I want to do 5 more pounds. I want to do 1 more rep. It's unbelievable, truly, the impact that weightlifting as a meta process can have on our life for setting goals and for seeing real improvement almost in real time, and certainly seeing lasting improvement in a short amount of time. Now, marijuana. Now, weightlifting is actually also proven, I believe, to increase bone density, which is something that you're going to want as you grow older. So, I really see weightlifting as something we can begin at a young age, and it's a project that we can continue on for life. Now, when it comes to yoga is challenging in a similar way, where we're holding these positions and maintaining that breath, right? And maybe that's actually something I would have added. Take control of your breath, young man. Be mindful of your breathing. And yoga is an invitation to do that, to hold these deep stretches, maintain constant, steady, deep breathing, and really just expunge, remove that tension from our body. And I got to tell you that since I've started doing yoga, I've really noticed a decline in anxiety and in negative thought and a real improvement in my emotional state and in my mood, and physically my body just feels great. I'm getting that tension out daily. And of course, if you've been listening to this show, or you may know just through your own experience, that bad mental health causes tension in the body, and vice versa. Tension in the body, whether we're sore, stiff from not moving or from hard work, that tension in the body can feed back into poor mental health, and it can really be a vicious cycle. Yoga and weightlifting are ways to break out of that cycle, to free the body and to improve the mental health all at once. Number 3, I would say, young man, stop looking at pornography and stop doing you know what when you watch it. It's creating a horrible addiction to dopamine that will just get harder and harder to break the longer you go. For me, in my case, this is simply your ego looking for ways to control your pleasure because, you had an experience where, and this is the benefit, right? I get to talk to myself because I know. I would say this is your ego looking to self-medicate and to soothe the pain from past experiences. This is a way for you to take control of your body. It's not going to be easy to quit, but you have to realize this is not the end goal. This is not the place to be. This is a process of learning that you're trying to control your pleasure. You're trying to self-medicate, but you can get to a place where you don't need it. Just try every day to do a little bit less of this stuff. Same goes with marijuana. Not saying quit cold turkey today. I'm saying a little bit less every day. Number 4, stop eating like shit. The gut and the brain are closely linked. The more shit that you eat and drink, the lower your mental health will be. The more shit you eat and drink, the less quality of mental health you will have. Have I said it clearly enough yet? The more crap you put in, the more crap you think, the more crap you put out. Now, the caveat here has to be, of course, that because I'm talking to myself, I know the root of all these problems. Now, if you're listening to this advice, if you're taking it for yourself, it's not going to be easy just to quit the things that we want to quit because they know we're bad. We know that they're bad for us. It's not enough to just say, well, the guy on the podcast said I should quit, so I'll quit. Quitting any addiction, or even by the same token, beginning a new healthy routine, requires self-knowing. It requires observation and awareness of ourself in the present. It's going to take time. There's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be a straight line. So that brings me then to number 5. Begin to practice awareness and observation of yourself. Start journaling every day. Track your sleep, track your mood, track what you're eating, and be brutally honest. Hold nothing back. Because it is through this process of self-knowing, of observation, of challenging yourself to look within and say, why am I doing these things I know to be bad for me? It's leading to my depression, or my poor mental health, or my procrastination. Then you can begin to remove some of these unhealthy habits and begin perhaps some healthy habits in their place. So that's what I would say to 18-year-old me. I don't know that he'd listen. He'd probably say, are you a time traveler? But at least your beard filled in. Reduce and eventually cease your marijuana and alcohol use. Start lifting weights and doing yoga. Stop with pornography and the behavior that goes along with pornography. Stop eating like shit and start fostering awareness in your life. Start journaling. It's not going to be easy. Your friends might make it harder on you than they have to, but this is how we build a better life, I would say to myself 16 years ago. Become aware of those problems in your life and ask, why am I doing them? And develop that deep, deep self-awareness, because then that becomes the jumping off point to a better life. So I want to thank you for listening to this private conversation between me and myself. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, if you are listening, please, by all means, check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe over there. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have those numbers go up. That helps the algorithm. That helps more and more people find the show. Drop a review on Apple. Drop a review on Spotify. Any engagement that you make is very much appreciated. It's very helpful. We're building a community here as we go forward. I want to thank you again for listening and watching. And remember, until we speak again, to you and to your past and future self, better is possible.